Alright, I got about 10 minutes to shoot. Shaloha, and welcome back to the Warrior Church. Today I'm going to be your host, Captain Samoa here. If you haven't been here before, the purpose of this ministry is to help battle the front of preventing veteran and first responder suicide. We do so through the aspects of spiritual warfare, training them and equipping them so that they may be healed, saved, and delivered. All right, welcome back to the continuation of the intelligence phase. Last time we were continuing to unpack all the different levels by degrees of the enemy, which is not flesh and blood, but rather the things that are described in Ephesians 6, verse 10 and on by Paul. We're working our way from the bottom up, as he does, trying to understand and learn and explore these things. Again, I am not qualified to teach, so I'm going to learn with you. I am called for this ministry, but hopefully we can piece together what we have here. You probably have some better understanding. I myself is still a student, and so I'm learning with you. All right, so where we've come from so far is we're continuing to look at evidences, listed testimonies, and learn what the Bible has to say for us. We're continuing to ascend the ladder. Last time we covered the powers and the authorities, which potentially could be the fourth and fifth orders of celestial beings as we understand them. The administration of lights, sun, moon, and stars, and then also the powers, which is the fifth order. Right? As we continue to unpack this, you're going to see there's a lot of ambiguity because they all hail from different levels of the heavens. Right. The next part that we're going to continue on is the rulers of darkness of this world, which are potentially the sixth order or the dominions on the celestial hierarchy of things. All right. If you need a reminder of that, that came out of the last chapter of the Testament of our father Adam, which describes the hierarchy in heaven, their occupation, and what rank they hold. All right. He goes from the bottom up, being angels, all the way up to the throne room. And so for a quick punch and review of what those were, that was angels, archangels, archons, administrations, powers, dominions, and then you get into the administration of the third level of heaven, or the throne room, or the seventh level, however you want to slice it, which give you the Ophanim, or the thrones, Ophanim, the cherubim, and the seraphim. Right? Those are the holy entourage of the Lord Jesus Christ. Now, there are the other hosts in there, of course, that's described to us in Revelation, the elders and some others. But again, we're just trying to map out the enemies that we're dealing with on the spiritual warfare side of things. All right, so back to the third entity that Paul mentions, which are the rulers of darkness, or powers of this dark world rulers, right? Two aspects, both terrestrial and celestial. Last time we talked about the terrestrial side, who is the earthly representative, who is the king of a particular nation and border. All right, a lot of those evidences are found throughout the Bible in the Tanakh, which is the prophets, both major and minor. Anytime they proclaim lamentations or judgments for particular kings or princes, those are the earthly representatives of these. However, we have this split of the events that happened at the Tower of Babel, when we split into the nations and the different languages, and we had these sons of God that were pointed over us. Last time we talked about that with the Deuteronomy 32 worldview. We isolated them through Psalms 82, where God proclaims their judgment, saying, "Ye are gods, but ye shall die like men," because of the way they handled their judgment over us, which was not according to his character. They venerated, they were worshipers, meaning they required worship like he does, and then they also would kill more than what was appointed to them, or as Ezekiel would say, cause the souls to fly early. They were killed before their appointed time during times of judgment, of the sword and pestilence and things of that nature. All right, so now we want to isolate the dominions. All right, we touched a little bit on it when we read read through the testament of our father Adam and how these are the ones who are in charge of the borders of the nations and decide the outcomes of battles and war, all from the guidance of the Most High, right? So when the nations pit against each other, as I mentioned before, Sun Tzu says you need to account for heaven. He's not just talking about the weather or the archons, which are the celestial beings in charge of weather and the formations of them, but rather these sons of the Most High, the 70 who are appointed over the nations. Right, suspect to that would be the dominions. Right now, of course, Israel has the dominion angel, who was mentioned in there. He was mentioned to be the one that went through the Assyrian camp that killed the entire army, the 185,000. He was also mentioned during the occupation of the Greeks through Antiochus Epiphanes, who performed the abomination of desolations, which was the sacrifice of the pig and the temple. Right, that signaled the end for them. But fortunately, Judas Maccabeus was helped by this particular angel in their host to help thwart the rebellion for that. So you'll find those in the apocryphal texts of the first and second Maccabees. You can read about that revolution there. That was originally a part of the 80 canon in King James. It was taken out and is now in this. We are left with the 66 canon. So you can find it there, or you can find it in the apocryphal text. All right, so dominions. So there's a little bit of blending here that goes on, which will ascend into the fourth entity that's mentioned. All right, so third being the rulers of darkness of this world, our world rulers. But then we start to get into the final entity that Paul mentions, which is spiritual wickedness in high places or forces of evil in the heavenly places. So what I would like to look at for evidences and suspect to those are what are known as the wandering stars, all right, or also known as the Satans. All right, I'm currently coming up on my time limit here, so this is going to be another rep. Next time we'll talk about, in the book of Enoch, we'll look at some evidences as to what those are, the 21 and the 5, and then we'll kind of talk about which each planet or planos or wandering star, what entity has come from it, and what they represent and what they're responsible for. And a lot of it's going to go back to the Genesis 6 narrative on the second fall of angels, or the second rebellion of angels, apart from the first war in heaven. All right, that's all I have time for today. Be blessed. I look forward to the edification and also the continued education of what we're dealing with.